I am excited to be here with my friends, Dawn from the Minimal Mom and Cas from Clutterbug. Together, we do the Take Your House Back course, which just so happens to be majorly on sale right now. It's $94, right, Dawn?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
it's normally,
Normally 597.
I mean, here's the thing. We have worked on the pricing. I know we weren't supposed to get into this yet, but y'all know me. We have worked on the pricing and just literally looking at other things that are out there compared to what we are offering. Y'all, this is incredibly valuable. So, but let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about, which is which is sustaining decluttering energy for the long haul, because this is the real thing that a lot of people want to know how to do. Because I don't know if y'all know. I mean, I know that these two ladies here with me know, but I don't know if those of you watching know, but this is the decluttering week of the year.
Yeah.
There is something about Christmas is over. Oh my word, so much stuff. There's trash everywhere. And the new year is coming, and I'm going to be a different person next year. And a lot of people are off work. And even if you're not off work, things are not scheduled this week in the same way that they always are, like relentlessly every single night of the week kind of stuff. And so people just want to declutter. I think it starts the evening of December 25th. But anyway, here we are. But the problem is, if you are feeling overwhelmed and you have had this, I'm going to change everything at years in the past, and then you weren't able to actually sustain that energy, or you pulled everything out, you had it laying out on the floor of your house, you covered the beds and things, and then life did start happening again, I mean, you weren't able to finish things, and then you feel like, well, that was not worth it, or I am worse off for all the work that I did during that week when I thought I was going to change everything. It can make you scared to try again. So we're going to talk about what is it that zaps decluttering energy, and how is it that you defeat that? How can you sustain decluttering energy? How can you declutter in a way that's going to truly change the course of the next year in your home? So
Yeah.
I would love to hear from y'all what you have found zaps that decluttering energy. What are the reasons why either you in the past or why people that you've worked with are scared to declutter?
Yeah. Well, there's something very real, Dana. Excuse me. It's called negativity bias. So our brains, for most of us, we have amygdalas in our brain that are scanning for negative things. And it's a protective thing. It's meant to keep us safe. It's meant to keep us having enough supplies and everything. But this negativity bias also means that we're finding everything wrong with everything we've done. So like you said, well, I've pulled everything out in the past and it didn't work. I've tried to declutter in the past and it didn't work. I tried to make this Christmas go smoother and it didn't. And my house is still trashed after Christmas. And so our brain is constantly focusing on the negative side of decluttering. Well, you got rid of that thing and you kind of wish that you had it back now. I've been hearing that one a lot recently. Well, I decluttered this thing and now I wish that I had it. That is because your brain, again, it's doing its job. It's trying to protect you, but it is focusing on all the negative stuff. And so what we have to actively do is say, yes, but my house actually was a little bit better this year than it was the Christmas before. Yes, but I do have the skills I need to deal with this mess in my house right now. Yes, but even if I get up and set the timer for 5 minutes right now, I know I'm actually going to feel better afterwards. And yes, you know what? I might need a little extra help, and I might need help keeping some positive things in front of me. So I might need to invest $94 of my hard-earned money and join a group of gals that are going to remind me, and they're going to keep the positive in front of me, and they are going to encourage me, and they're going to tell me that I can do this even when my brain is saying, oh yeah, but you tried that before. And so we have to, especially this year, we have to pull out all the stops and say, how am I going to keep this in front of me this year? Like, I have to remember what the value is and why I am doing this, because otherwise my negative amygdala is going to take over. It's like nicknamed like a sad amygdala, but you can make it a happy one. It just takes some work, but we can't let that take over again this year. We have to say, no. Decluttering your house is hard, but it's not that hard. I can actually do it.
Right. And I think what you're saying, what I hear too, is it's not, I think we're always looking for a trick, right?
Yes.
And the tricks don't work, but strategies do work,
Mhm.
right? And so instead of thinking, well, I am going to buy this course and that's going to change my house, that's not what actually changes your house. But investing in the course, then, like you said, puts me in a situation where I have the actual tools that I can work through, and I have the ongoing support of other people. So, Cass, what did you have anything that you wanted to say on that?
I just want to say how fascinating I find it that we all thought, and maybe some people watching still think, decluttering and getting organized means taking everything out and sorting things into 50 million different piles. Who
Right.
told us this is how we're supposed to do it? Why do we all think this is how we're supposed to do it when this is the death of progress? It's the death of progress. You want to organize your kitchen? What do we do without realizing it? We take everything out of the cabinets. We start making piles. We sort on the floor. We're thising and we're thising. And then it's dinner. Oh crap, I can't cook. I guess we're getting fast food. And then it's 8 o'clock at night. We're exhausted. And the only thing we've done is made a giant mess.
Yes.
Like, right? And then we're like, well, I guess I'm not good at organizing. But the truth is, that isn't how we declutter. That isn't how we organize. And so, yes, you're failing because for some reason, our brains are thinking this is the process when it really isn't. And so, how do we keep the momentum going? We don't fail the first time we try. And that, if we're doing it that old way of thinking, we're going to fail the first time we try. So, what we do is we set ourselves up, we follow the right strategy, we declutter the right way so that we have success and we think, look what I did
Mm-hmm.
in 15 minutes. I'm so proud of myself. And that fills us with dopamine and serotonin and all of those happy feelings. And then guess what? We want to do it again. We want to repeat because for the first time in our life, we're having decluttering and organizing success.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's talk about that success. Let's talk about how to achieve that success. Um, Dawn, you are the queen of minimalism. I'm just going to crown you right now in front of everybody. But you are, and I'm not a minimalist, but I have experienced what I think you took and ran with, which is the less stuff I have in my house, the easier it is to keep it under control. So, like, talk to us about, for you, the power of your life and maintaining your house being easier with less stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so you've probably heard me say it before, but I think it's worth mentioning again this time of year is that every item in your house is inventory that you have to manage.
Mm-hmm.
You have to manage it. And we've talked about the silent to-do list, and it's like all of this stuff is sending us messages. It's like, organize me, clean me, pick me up, keep me safe from pests. Don't forget that you have me. Don't waste me. And so if every item is inventory and it's all sending us this message, it's just logical then that the less inventory that we have to personally manage, the easier our house is going to be to run. That's the logical side. The emotional side is that all of that stuff in my house was making me feel like crap about myself because it was saying, you're lazy, you're unorganized, you're a bad mom. Like, come on. And I didn't realize that. Right. And so as I started decluttering and moving stuff out, I was like, oh, like I'm feeling this new confidence in myself. Like I can keep a tidy house. Like I can pick it up. I can have someone stop over unexpected and not have to be horrified by it. My kids are like just not so crabby all of the time. They play better together. They can pick up their own toys. They can help. And so it was mind blowing the impact that this had on my life. I thought it was just gonna be a housekeeping tactic. Like finally I'll have a snowball's chance in keeping my house clean. But the benefits of how much better I feel about myself, and you've probably experienced this, like when you're in like a really clean space, like there's just not a lot going on, like maybe go to an Airbnb or a hotel, you kind of just sit down here and like, I feel like there's possibilities. Like I feel like there's things that maybe I've always kind of wanted to do. And now I can actually think about doing these things. And the fact that that came from decluttering my house still like floors me because I'm like, I still don't quite understand it. But it is amazing how much of our mental and emotional energy is freed up when we don't have to manage all of this stuff anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Cass, what can you do to immediately make success while they are finishing watching this video? What can someone do?
We start small. So,
Mhm.
a drawer right now. We do one project at a time. We don't look at our whole house as a project. We look at it as 15-minute projects, and it's one chunk at a time. And I think somewhere in our brain, we're like, I just want to get it all out. I want to rip off this band aid and solve all my problems. But it never works that way. So, we're picking one drawer, one shelf, one pile. We're having success with this. Take a before picture. Nothing is
Mhm.
more motivating than a before picture. Set a timer, do your thing, 5, 10, 15 minutes, take an after picture, and then feel proud of yourself. Like, allow yourself to celebrate. We're not like, yeah, this drawer looks gorgeous, but the rest of my house is still a disaster. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the step we made because that's how we keep the momentum going. So we're organizing one small space at a time. It took me a long time to get through my whole house, but I'll tell you what, I enjoyed every freaking minute of it. And that is the difference from doing it the old way and doing it the right way. It brought me joy.
Yeah.
It became a hobby. It became something I did for fun because I was using the right strategy and it was no longer a burden. It was like, yeah, I'm awesome. Look at this, what I just did to my socks. They look fantastic. And it's like,
That's
but
awesome.
it's I'm not alone.
No.
This is something everyone will feel when we're doing it the right way.
Well, and I think too, like you said, like when we say things like, oh, look at my socks, they're awesome. I could not, here's the thing. I am not a major decorator. That's like not my thing. I love a decorated space. I love to get help on doing that. But comparing piles to empty space, an empty space is basically decorated. Like, right? Like I was shocked because I had stuff out that I liked, but it was being hidden by extra stuff. And when I just removed the things that I didn't need, just decluttering that space, it made my house, it like took away the excess and made my house what I had envisioned when I had brought that stuff in. Because it was not that I didn't have things to decorate with, it was that I had so much stuff that it just was cluttered instead of decorated. So
Yeah.
as far as like what can you do right this second, you can grab a black trash bag. You can start throwing away stuff. I like to start in the most visible area of your house because it's immediate, visible success that you and the other people in your home are going to see and be inspired by to keep going. That's the main thing for sustainable success, is to completely do small things.
Yeah.
Okay, we think I need to completely change my house. I need to completely declutter this year. That's the goal, right? Eventually that's the goal, is for you to actually have your house all the way decluttered, even though, big secret, it's never going to be done. Like, right? If your house is going to stay under control, you're going to have to consistently be decluttering for the rest of your entire life. I mean, that's just it. But it gets so much easier and it doesn't feel the way that it feels right now, right? Like it's not going to feel this way. It's just going to be how you live as new things come in, old things go out. But for right now, what can you do completely? Putting something in a trash bag means that that item has been completely and totally dealt with.
Yeah.
Even though it's one small item, and there is power in that, because it's like being gone out of your house, that is sustainable. Like Dawn was talking about, the management is not a thing anymore. You don't have to spend energy, you don't have to spend time, thoughts on this item anymore because it's gone. And that to me is what was so incredibly powerful. So let's talk about getting stuff actually out of the house, because that can, a lot of times people sort into piles. We don't do that with our system. But we want to get things out of the house. So one of the things that's coming up is January 7th. We're going to be doing an all day declutter, which people love. Like love, and people have told us they change their house in that one day. And we do these, what, 3 times a year-ish, sort
Yep.
of. Um, so those days are really powerful. The course itself is everything that you need to know to methodically work through your house. It's self-paced. It teaches you the process. It teaches you how to deal with your paper, how to change your kitchen, how to, all of those things together are there in the course, in an educationally well set up way for you to be able to learn it. But those all day declutters, those are so powerful. So you're going to have a lot of stuff to get rid of. So Dawn, how do you actually get stuff out of the house? Because to me, that's the most sustainable way. Is it being gone completely? What is your best strategy for getting stuff out of the house?
So I've decided that, like, for me, garbage day is get everything out of the house day. So like I always want my garbage can to be full, and I want to make a trip to either a donation center, or maybe I have blankets and towels that I'm bringing to an animal shelter, or maybe I have extra toiletries and stuff I'm bringing to a women's shelter. And so I had to have a day of the week where it was like, oh, Dawn, it's Tuesday, it's garbage day, like get everything together. Because how quickly does a week go and a month go? And we all joke about driving around with it in our trunk, and then it's like getting dirty. And then I'm like, oh, crud, can I still donate this? And all, anyways. And so for me, having that day of the week, I would be like, oh, it's Tuesday. Guys, go, like, I know the kids had some stuff in their rooms and stuff, like, get it all together. We are going to go Goodwill today. And I had to stop like overthinking where I was donating stuff to, because there's like one place I really like to donate to because I've gotten good stuff there for the kids and I like their cause. But like Goodwill is the easiest. And so like I've had to just be like, there's days where I'm like, just go to Goodwill, or whatever it is in your area. And so I had to like stop overthinking to where it's going. It's just, it's Tuesday, it's garbage day. Stuff is leaving my house today.
I love that. That's really great. Cass, what about you?
I had to realize that my biggest issue was stuff shuffling. And so I would clean and I'd be like, well, I don't know where this, I'm going to put it in this room, or I'm going to put it in a box, or I'm going to shove it somewhere in a drawer. And now, because I realize that, I have to keep being mindful of the fact that I'm stuff shuffling. I'm like, should I shuffle this in the trash? And sometimes it's good stuff. And just because something's good doesn't mean it's useful to me. And I'm not being wasteful. This was a big thing for me. I'm not being wasteful getting rid of something that's still good, because keeping it in my house, I'm still not using it. I'm still wasting it, but now I'm wasting space too.
Yeah.
And so this mindset shift, I repeat myself all the time. I got a bunch of new lotions for Christmas or whatever, and I'm like, I will never actually use these, but they're good. And oh, is it wasteful to let them go? Maybe I'll just stick them in the closet. Maybe I'll stick them over here in the bathroom thing. And I'm like, stop stuff shuffling. I'm never going to use this. I know I'm never going to use it. I know it's brand new, but it isn't wasteful for me to let this go. It's wasteful for me to keep it and steal my space. And that mindset shift, that just repeating that all the time to myself, helps me get things out instead of just shoving it in another hidden spot.
Yeah, that's really
Absolutely.
good.
And I just want to let you know that this week, while you're watching this, this one is coming out it's getting closer to New Year. Things are going to start to go back to normal life fairly soon. I had to give myself permission. Okay. You don't need my permission for anything. All right. But I had to give myself permission to consider a day spent driving to a donation center, or, wherever you are, having the burn pile, if that's something that you can do where you are, those types of things, I had to consider that a valid use of my decluttering energy. We're talking about sustaining decluttering energy. And sometimes part of my problem is evaluating too hard what deserves my decluttering energy, because I think, well, this is not going to last. And so I need to really do something with big impact with this energy. And in reality, getting the stuff out of the house, I live in a place where we don't have a lot of donating options. Sometimes we have to drive like 30, 45 minutes to donate. that is such a valid use of my time, because that stuff actually being gone, like really truly gone, that's where my decluttering energy is sustained, because of that actual experience of the empty space. Whether maybe I've been piling it up in a corner of the garage, that garage corner being empty makes me go, my house is different. Even though that stuff was already out of the spaces where it had been cluttering things up, really truly being gone, not weighing on me, even though I'm not consciously thinking about it, weighing on me as something that I'm going to have to deal with in the future, that it goes so far in keeping that decluttering energy going. So, okay.
Can I also say just one thing? I just want to say one thing. Listen, I'm going to give you permission to just throw stuff in the trash. Because listen, if you have lotion and it's half full and you're like, well, I can't donate this. Who would be so wasteful? I should rinse it out and recycle, but I don't have the capacity to do that right now. Listen, we've all been there. There is no judgment. Sometimes we can't always do everything perfectly. And the best thing you can do for yourself, for your family, for your home is just put it in the trash and move on. And when your house is under control, you're going to have the time, energy, and mental capacity to do things differently, to rinse out all those recyclings, to find the best place to donate everything. But to get to that place, we have to just surrender and throw stuff out.
Yeah.
Because I was going to wrap it up really quickly, but I can't, because the reality is I know that mentality of I need to do the very best thing. And that mentality is what caused me to have entire drawers full of half-used things that I was planning to do the very best thing with. But the more things were in that drawer, the more it was like, well, that's going to be an entire day's worth of work for me. And so I didn't do it. Meanwhile, I had stuff piled on the counter because it had no place to be in my home, because I had a drawer full of half full, not laundry, lotion containers. You know what I mean? Like, so it's this, that's that building of it. And so that permission to say, you can do this thing now, as long as you get it out of your house, you are going to improve your home. You're going to make this an actual sustainable, real change in your home. So I want to hear, though, from each of y'all, what is your favorite thing about the all-day declutter that's coming up? Just your number one favorite thing about it. Dawn.
The energy.
Like yelling.
The yelling? The energy. You can feel, there'll be thousands of people working together. We still don't know exactly how it works, but you will feel the group energy, which leads to motivation, which leads to you being able to make hard decisions. There is something magical about that day. And even if you have to watch the replay, it's still there. Like, it's all contained in it some way. It is phenomenal.
Yes. Cass, what did you say?
I just like the yelling part. I like I know it's weird, but I'm like, put it in the bag. You don't need it. Respect yourself. Why do you have granny panties with holes in them? You don't want no paramedics seeing those granny panties with holes in them if they have to cut your clothes off your body. Throw them in the bag. I don't know. That's my favorite part.
Okay, so I'll say my favorite part is I love the three of us together, because we are also different. I don't yell at y'all. I mean, there are people who've been yelled at by me in the past, but that's the power of this, is like you have three different people with three different personalities, all teaching you the process to change your home. And so it's like, if you're like, Dana she was too nice in there. Well, guess what? Cass is coming. So, and I there is so much power in that, because we all love you. We're all here to help you. We're all here because we're so passionate about this, and we come at it from our own angles. And that's where the magic is to me. It's like, this works. Like, we know we have three different kinds of houses and three different types of personalities, and this works. Dawn, did you already tell me what your favorite part was?
Yeah, the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
They keep me on track, because I already forgot what Dawn said like 5 minutes ago. Anyway. So I think you're going to love it. I hope that you'll join us there if you haven't already. If you're already a member, make sure that you have renewed for the year. It's only $10 so that you can make sure that you participate in this. So, all right. Well, we will talk to y'all later. Hope to see you at the All Day Declutter on January 7th. Bye.